The third round of the OHL playoffs begin tonight. We are down to the final four teams in the Eastern Conference Final, Oshawa against North Bay, and then in the Western Conference Final, London against Saginaw. I did playoff preview videos for both series, so you can find those here on the channel. But this video, we're going to focus on news from around the Ontario Hockey League. We have some signings, and it's not just players signing. We'll get to that in a few minutes. And someone asked me about the Barrie Colts arena lease, so I'll be doing a little bit of an update towards the end of this video. But I wanted to start things off with some signings as the Niagara Icedogs getting a commitment from 4th overall pick, Braidy Wassilyn. Some great news here for the Niagara Icedogs as Wassilyn, he played with the Markham Majors last season with their under-16 team, where he posted 31 goals, 31 assists, good for 62 points. And that was in 32 games of work, so nearly a goal per game for Braidy Wassilyn. And it's great to see this talented forward deciding to join the Icedogs in St. Catharines, because earlier this season, there was some who were wondering if he could go first overall at the OHL priority selection, but he ended up falling to the 4th spot. But he's a very competitive player, and I think he's going to be fantastic in this lineup, considering the players they already have in place on the offensive side of things with Kevin He and Ryan Robrick, and then you add Braidy Wassilyn and see what he can do at the junior hockey level. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. The Icedogs are hosting their orientation camp tomorrow, so Niagara Icedog fans will get their first look at Braidy Wassilyn as he takes to the ice. Also being signed, Parker Vaughan. He's agreed to the OHL scholarship and education agreement with the Barrie Colts. The Colts, they selected Vaughan 5th overall, and I think he's going to fit in quite nicely. He's got that size and a skill set which will fit, I think, quite nicely with this Barrie Colts team that has a lot of potential going into next season. Vaughan, he had 49 points in 30 games for the Elgin Middlesex Canucks, and he also suited up in 5 games with the St. Thomas Stars, their Junior B in the GOJHL. And in his appearance there, 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. So not too shabby playing in the Junior B ranks. So Vaughan, he's excited to go with the Barrie Colts, and he's kind of, if you want to compare him to a player already playing for Barrie, Cole Beaudoin. Remember, he had that slow rookie season, but boy, oh boy, last year, Cole Beaudoin really poured it on. And now we're talking about Beaudoin maybe being picked in the first round of the NHL draft. So Parker Vaughan, if he can follow those steps as well, he'll be a great fit with this Barrie Colts team. So with that in mind, now 3 of the 6 top 6 picks in the OHL priority selection have now committed to their teams. Wassilyn and Vaughan, they signed yesterday with the Icedogs and Colts. We also have the Flint Firebirds, Cole Zarowski. He also signed his agreement with the Flint Firebirds. He was the 6th overall pick. So that leaves a few questions as to when are we going to see the signings of the top 3 picks. Of course, the Windsor Spitfires, they had the 1st overall selection at the OHL draft, and they went with Ian Belchetz, but he has not yet signed, from what I've seen, his OHL scholarship and education agreement. Although I would think that should be coming soon. I think it's, he was there at the WFCU Center for the big ceremony to announce him as the 1st overall pick. And he's very well spoken. And I think he's going to probably be signed in the coming weeks, I would imagine, with the Windsor Spitfires, but just nothing official as of yet. But then I haven't really heard anything about Alessandro Delorio. He was the 2nd overall pick with the Sarnia Sting. Still waiting to see what transpires there. Again, signs point that he should sign with the Sarnia Sting after playing with the Vaughan Kings last year. I think it's just a matter of time before he signs. But it's the 3rd overall pick that had the question marks. The Peterborough Petes, they selected Colin Fitzgerald. And according to Rob Wilson, the head coach of the Peterborough Petes, he has met with Fitzgerald to talk to him, to see where he's at, and just to sell the team a bit, just to encourage him with whatever direction he chooses. He was signed by the Green Bay Gamblers of the USHL right before draft day. So it looked as though he's fully committed to the USHL. But with Fitzgerald being from the city of Peterborough, there is that chance that he decides to play with the maroon and white. So Wilson already talking with Fitzgerald just to get a sense of where he's at. And maybe we'll hear in the coming months if he might move to Peterborough or if he'll stay with his commitment with the Green Bay Gamblers. Now, selected 8th overall was Caleb Malhotra. He's got such great talent, but before the draft, there was talk of him looking at other options for junior hockey next season. The Kingston Frontenacs decided to take a chance with him, And at this point, it seems unlikely that Malhotra will join the Kingston Frontenacs. He's also signed an agreement with the BCHL, the Chilliwack Chiefs. So he did say before the draft that he was looking to be to the BCHL. He signed that agreement with Chilliwack. Mind you, that's no guarantee that he won't play in the Ontario Hockey League. But at this point, I think the chances are not that great that he's going to play with Kingston next year. But anything can change between now and then. Now, speaking of the Kingston Frontenacs, some big news. They've extended Troy Mann. Yes, the Kingston Frontenacs announcing a 3-year agreement for Troy Mann. He was signed on as an interim head coach back in October after Luca Caputi was let go. And Troy Mann fitting in quite nicely. He brings a lot of experience from the American Hockey League level where he coached with the Belleville Senators. Now he's with Kingston, and we did see a bit of a turnaround with this team. He was getting some wins early on. Of course, it was a disappointing finish to the regular season for Kingston in the playoffs, losing in 5 games to the North Bay Battalion. But all signs point to Troy Mann maybe turning things around with this organization. The Kingston Frontenacs, a team that hasn't yet made an appearance in the OHL final. They want to develop their own talent. And I think this is a great decision for Kingston to sign Troy Mann to that 3-year agreement. So we'll see what transpires from here. And that's just one less question mark when it comes to the head coaching jobs in the Ontario Hockey League. We're still trying to figure out what's going on in Windsor with their head coaching position. Right now, they do have an interim head coach right now. Then you've also got Sudbury with Ken McKenzie. He resigned yesterday, so there's the void there. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these head coaching jobs will fill themselves out between now and the start of training camp, which, of course, gets under the way at the end of August. And I was asked about the Barrie Colts arena lease situation because the Sadlin Arena deal, it technically expires on Tuesday, April 30th, because at the time of recording, there have been no updates in regards to talks between the city of Barrie and the Barrie Colts organization. The agreement that they're on right now has already been extended twice. It was first set to expire at the end of June 2023, but was extended to February 2024 and then to April 30th. And that's where we stand right now. I'm sure a deal will be reached between the Colts and the city of Barrie, but I haven't heard anything to suggest that the team is looking to go elsewhere, because usually if we get into these situations with arena lease agreements, like what we saw with Mississauga, the team eventually decided, okay, we're going to go to Brampton. I don't think that's going to happen with Barrie. I don't want to start any speculation on that front, but still, we're waiting for an agreement to see how long this team is willing to commit to the city of Barrie, because right now there's also question marks with the facility itself. The last update we got from the council staff is that they were working with the Colts on renewing the concession and facility use agreement. There's also talks about maybe doing some expansion work on the Sadlin Arena itself, adding some extra seats, and just improving the flow of the arena. So we'll have to wait and see. The last time there was talk about the expansion, that was back in March 2023. It's gone kind of quiet on that front because I think they're focused on this deal trying to be reached with the junior hockey club. We do know that the sound system is supposed to be improved at the Sadlin Arena during the off-season. You might remember that the sound system stopped working in a game against the Brantford Bulldogs right before warm-up. The sound system just cut out, and the city did say that they were looking into that and that improvements were on the way for the sound system. But other than that, not much else to report. We'll have to wait and see because we are only a few days away from April 30th, which, like I said, that's Tuesday. So we'll see what happens with the city and with the Barrie Colts. And we'll see what kind of a deal is reached. But that's how I see it from the booth. Let me know in the comments section down below your thoughts on any of the signings or the arena lease. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We'll talk to you again soon.